Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and the second aerial bot that's a jet is Skydive, the gray and black thunderbolt who dives through the skies. Once again, it's hard to deny how generously G1 referential this guy looks. The color palette is a loud, proud callback, but Skydive rather noticeably lacks any kind of lightning bolt motif on either of his wings. It's kind of a shame as the black and gold paint is very sharp, and I'd love to have seen it applied in a proper zigzaggy pattern. Like Firefly, Skydive's got a fairly unhidden underchunk that you've kind of gotta accept being there due to all the Combiner worky bits. But man, this guy does butt crack nothing to hide his hands other than shoving them even farther back than Firefly did. Also, Skydive has no front landing gear whatsoever. It's not the end of the world as I rarely use that stuff, but then why did Firefly get some? Skydive's got a 5mm peg hole under either of his wings and adds one more on the top center of his jet mode. I felt that Firefly was kinda lacking peg and port options, so it's nice to have one extra hole, aerodynamics be damned. Remember that leg transformation? You know, that leg transformation? All these components are new for Skydive, but the engineering's the same Aerialbot Deluxe leg deal we've seen before. But the shoulders pop open a brand new bag of swing and swivel as the entire assembly uses a double-hinged bar to shift up into robot mode position. I really like seeing little shots of unique identity amidst the transformation engineering, despite all the similarities the Aerialbots are sharing in Combiner Wars. Skydive follows the formula laid out by Firefly in being very much like the G1 toy, but with more joints and more steroids. However, Skydive's shoulders are fully bulked out without any exposed ball joint stalks or empty space. This makes him look a little weirder, but also a little smoother. The standout of his really simple color scheme here is the hardcore bright red painted singlet he's sporting, which doesn't seem gloppy or streaky whatsoever on my copy of the toy. Skydive's head sculpt is a sort of strange, semi-conical helmet with a real strange orange face nestled within. I kinda dig the sculpt, but his, missing cheekbones and spooky lips certainly aren't for everyone. Weaponry's pretty straightforward on Skydive, with his gun being a double-barreled blaster affair and his hand-foot gun being a double-barreled rocket affair. There's a VTOL fan-style piece of sculpting on top of the hand-foot gun that looks like it'd be happy to receive a touch of detailing paint, so break out the inks if you got 'em. Skydive's arm mode has my favorite support engineering so far, with specialized tabs and slots on his wings and forearms to give those sub-limbs something to do. Once attached, he also provides a delightful shoulder pod silhouette between the parallel wing fins and the spire of the nose cone. I hope he remembers to disarm the warheads on his knuckle rockets before punching things though, or stuff could get messy. Leg mode isn't nearly as exciting, as it's just the jet mode with the cockpit folded down. I mean, the shapes are cool, with the nose cone wings and tail fins giving the impression that a kick to the face with this limb would result in mass lacerations, not to mention the friggin' rocket toes. It's just not much of an adventure getting there. Hey, remember that ball-jointed neck on Firefly and Alpha Bravo that could look up? Skydive's can't really. It can look up a little bit, but nowhere near as much as the other two. You little Anyway, it still works fine. There's still even a bit of waggle, but I was really bummed out when I, popped this guy open after Firefly and saw there was, no cut back there. So if you really need him to look straight up, he's gonna grow a little bit of a gut, but he can do it. His shoulders are on those wonderful ball socket connections with the big cuts for all of the wiggly-waggly hoobity-hoo. They are on a separate thing, but it doesn't really offer too much other than, I don't know, maybe some underslung stuff. You know what, actually, this does do something. If you get them underneath here, you can have them kind of, looking like you just don't care. Yo. His elbows have got an attempt at a detented elbow like Firefly and Alpha Bravo, but it doesn't work. The only reason that mine are any semblance of tight is because I stuffed them full of floor polish. They were not even able to hold up the hand-foot gun until I did that. So these elbows are problematic, be aware. Bicep swivel is a mushroom peg, as is his thigh swivel. His waist is that slightly off-center waist joint we've seen before. His hips are ball socket joints. These ones can do the full Van Damme. And the thigh swivels I mentioned before are mushroom pegs, and there's something about the knee joint full 90 degrees, except not quite, because there's a little bit more chunk there, so I guess it's more like 89 degrees, who cares? And you can, why would you, I don't know, someone wants to, and I just, I made it valid for them. He's fine. He, overall feels like, in terms of the build quality of his joints, is the weakest of the three Aerialbots of Wave 1. I had to do a bunch of work on his hips and his elbows to get them up to snuff, to what I wanted. and as far as I know, it's not uncommon for his elbows especially to be a bummer, so go into that with, you know, knowledge at the forefront of your... He can wave his wings and fly. Anyway, Skydive, you tried, buddy. Aesthetically, Skydive has a lot going on for him, but his looser joint tolerances went a long way to knocking him below Firefly and Alpha Bravo for me. The Copter Man is just more interesting to play with, and the Fireman does just about everything Skydive does, but better. But hey, the head sculpt and shoulder structure on this guy are properly noteworthy, and his colors are spot on to what I was hoping for. I wouldn't make him a first purchase figure if you're getting your Combiner Wars piecemeal, but he's hardly a canker on the lips of Superion. I mean, he couldn't be, he turns into a limb, not a face, but... Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and that's the first wave Aerialbot Limb Deluxes in the bag. We'll be returning to the jets at that price point as soon as Wave 2 gets into my hands, but there's still the matter of the boss plane and the gun plane to talk about too.